Hey guys, today we're going to tie a woolly bugger, more specifically an Uncle Doobies bugger. This is just a color combo that served us well here in the Northeast. We're going to use a Mustad Streamer 2X by 4XL size 8 hook. You can obviously tie this on a bigger hook if you wanted, or a smaller one. We're going to use .020 lead. Marabou black. These are the blood quills for woolly buggers. They're a nice amount. And a bugger pack from Whiting. These are really nice hackles for woolly buggers. And then we got some olive ultra chenille. Now you can do these in whatever colors you'd like, in whatever sizes you like, and they fish the same way. You could fish them dead drifted, stripped, very basic, but good fundamental fly to have under your belt. If you're not familiar with our YouTube channel, Farmington Flies and CT Fish Guides, you can subscribe and you'll get notifications when we put new videos up. So we do a lot of tutorials on tying, knot tying, and stream side tips. Uncle Doobies Wooly Bugger. We're going to start by taking .020 lead here. You can do these obviously in other thicknesses, 0.025, whatever you want. And I'm going to throw in around, like, I don't know, 12 wraps of lead here. If you are tying this on a larger hook, you can obviously put more lead. But I'll show you how to get somewhat of a nice taper out of this. We're going to use 140 UTC. And I don't care what color you're using. All we're using the 140 for is covering up the lead and making a bit of a thread ramp on both sides of the lead. Some people will coat this with glue. I tend not to. I don't find that the fly ever, the lead moves or anything like that. I'm going to throw in a quick whip here. Lock it off and cut the excess. And at this point, we can transition to another thread. So you can use 70 UTC, or in my case, I'm using black 70 UTC. So I'm going to go ahead and catch this on just below the lead here. And there's two ways to do the tail. Well, there's more than two, but the two main ways to do a tail on a woolly bugger is just to take your plume and tie in the tips kind of aligned, hanging off the back, but the stem is still involved. Or you can kind of strip some fibers like I've done here, and you can tie it in and palmer it on, which there's no stem involved in that. So the marabou fibers are a bit more free. They might breathe a little better. But just starting out, I would suggest doing what I'm doing here, which is just lining the tips, getting the length you want, and tying in your marabou. Now, when you're bringing it forward towards the lead, you're going to want to tie it in all the way to where the lead starts to give us somewhat of an even profile. But you want to try to splay the fibers of the marabou down the sides and below it, so that it's all not just bunched up on top, because then you get a bit of a weird taper to the fly. You want to try to keep this as uniform as possible from the tail all the way to the head. I've also seen people strip the fibers from the stem and align the tips. It's another way to do it. this point, we're going to take our olive ultra chenille, and we're going to try to strip some material off here. I'm using my scissors to do it because the ultra chenille is a little tough to strip, but we want to expose the core. And we're going to go ahead and capture that at the tail of the woolly bugger, lock it off, thread wraps behind, and then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do one wrap, and then I'm going to throw a thread wrap over the chenille. And that's going to allow me, when I tie in the hackle, to start winding the hackle within the chenille and not coming from back of the fly, because then you get a hackle that goes over the chenille, which is susceptible to being broken on a fish's teeth or what have you. So here I'm going to tie in a select hackle from that bugger packet, tie it all the way forward, clip off any excess if need be. You can see that on the hackle I train the fibers back a little bit so that they're more sticking out to the sides, and that just helps with tying in your hackle. They don't get caught as much. And at this point you can start winding forward your chenille. Nice tight wraps here. You're going to want to leave yourself with enough head space on this fly. Go ahead and lock off your chenille. Cut it off. Going to throw in a half hitch here just for security. Just training the fibers to the side for my wraps. Nice even spacing. All the way up. And then once I get to the head, I'm going to throw in like 2 wraps of the hackle. Then go ahead and lock it off. Trim your hackle off. And then at this point, I want to kind of take my fingers and stroke back as many fibers as possible and lock them in a back-facing position. I'm going to spin my thread here just to tighten it up because it's UTC. Get a little more bite that way. And then I'm going to throw in my whip finish. You can do this with a tool or with your hand. That's pretty much it. That's the Uncle Doobie Bugger. Check out our online fly shop at farmingtonflies.com. Good luck with this one. This is a great beginner fly.